Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is he turning the music down? Where's the next track, DJ? Well, this is not about mixing, this is about something else. So, what we're just listening to is Eon Hypnotized. And it's from a compilation that I recently found that I enjoy a lot. It's called A Journey Through Dutch Tech Trains History 1994 to 2005. And why am I saying that? Well, this program is about sort of giving you some roots and some ideas about where club music came from. And to do that, I invite artists from Copenhagen, DJs who knows their craft, who loves music, and we share some history about that, about ourselves, and hopefully give the music a bit more personality than when you're just at the club dancing to it. So anyway, this is Eon Hypnotized, Journey Through Dutch Trains Music 94 to 2005. Please, if you're interested in this kind of sound, check out the compilation. And that's also what I did lately. I really dug into the millennia train sound, Armin van Buuren, Tiesto, all these artists that you can't really talk about nowadays because they're so commercialized. But they did do an amazing job beforehand, making super cool music. They are from the period before trains was commercialized, so they actually commercialized it, meaning that there was something before, something underground, something really cool, dreamy and weird. So today I've invited Katinka, aka Floem, who's a part of Purple Rave Crew, one of the new rising stars of the Copenhagen music scene, to share her story and take us into what kind of vibes you're digging at the moment. So, Katinka, we have to start somewhere. So, I guess my first question is, what's your first memory of club music as a defined genre where you're like, okay, this is actually a sound, a vibe? And today we only have one microphone, so we have to keep passing it back and forth.
I think my first memory where I kind of realized or started having an interest for club music was actually, it was quite recent. I had been going to clubs before and remembering that I was maybe quite aware that I didn't really understand the music yet, but I still had fun being at the clubs. But so my first memory was in Switzerland, because I went there during COVID. I was spending 1 year there during exchange, and there I have this clear memory of throughout the year I started realizing that my friends there, they listened to electronic music, so I also did. It was house music. It was just, I felt like from because I grew up in Denmark, and here it was always commercial music, or not commercial music, but I guess not electronic music people would play at gatherings, and that was just very different in Switzerland. That was kind of just what was normal to listen to. And yeah, generally house music, tech house. And I think the first memory I have was this club that was called House of Klaus. That was like a very special club where you kind of went into this basement and everything was filled with carpets. And it was a very intimate room, and I remember just having a big whoa memory of this space, and I was so excited by dancing, because it was so weird to be in a new room and being in a club setting, even though I had been in a lot of clubs, but suddenly having another interest, because now I guess I understood what the music was about. Yeah.
So the music there was house music. Now I heard you play a lot, and I would say it's kind of house music, but if you, for our listeners, you'd kind of try to sum up where you are now, vibe-wise, and maybe take us through a small journey from that Switzerland experience to Denmark, and the way your taste developed.
I think now I would describe my style as somewhere between progressive house and techno and trance, and tech house, and also some psytrance. I think somewhere between that, but also not sticking to any of it. Yeah, to how I ended there, I think also kind of. So I came back from Switzerland, and then I came back, and I decided that I wanted to start DJing, and I did that through a DJ academy called Future Female Sounds. And I think that it was not until there that I actually really started to develop my own personal sound. That was actually with DJing. But I think it's funny that it was a long time before that I actually also started creating this sound that I see that I also am digging now. And one thing that I really love now is Eurodance. That's one of the things I'm digging a lot. And actually the first concert I ever went to in my life was an Infernal concert. So now I'm like going a long time back in time now to even before I came to Switzerland. So this was when I was 11 years old. I was at an Infernal concert, and I realized that kind of a year ago how the music I was digging way before learning club music, it has really defined what kind of music I also like now. And it was a lot of pop music and indie rock and also some hip hop, but especially this pop and Eurodance are some stuff that I still see now. Yeah.
So do you have any memorable tracks from that time where you discovered it in a Klaus house in Switzerland to now? Like were there some kind of like anthem tracks for you back then? I remember particularly Leon Weinhall when I started back in the mid-10s, and before that it was more like Ibiza trance music, commercial stuff, as I talked about before. Do you have any like tracks from that time or tracks that remind you of that time, or some particular mixtapes, artists? What comes to mind?
To be honest, not really, because it was I had this experience, and then it was not until a long time after that I started like developing my own sound. And this music that we heard at this club this night was a sound that kind of just some music that I actually don't listen to anymore, but I was still really finding it super great. But I did bring a track that was kind of related to what I said before about my first concert experience with Infernal.
Okay. So in this show, it's allowed to just geek out and nerd a lot, and it does not necessarily have a structure. So I just wanted to ask you, because I think it's a really interesting term, progressive. It can mean a lot of things. I remember my first experiences with progressive was in rock music. Like, I can remember the band. It was a Dutch band, really like far out, kind of playful and weird. And I would love to have it with me actually, but I don't play rock, sorry. But I remember that it was just constantly changing and evolving. So you would have maybe a melody or something that would go throughout the track, but everything around it, the arrangement would change and develop. What do you think of if you should define progressive?
I think actually what you say also kind of relates to what I also define as progressive, like that it's often these, to me, tracks that tell a story that maybe start somewhere and they end somewhere else. Maybe there's like a kind of a beat that is constant, but often it's like a long break. But I think what I really listen a lot to in these progressive tracks is kind of what emotions it gives and what vibes, maybe like images or stories that one can create when you hear these kind of tracks. Yeah.
Also reminds me, I recently started playing with another DJ, Moda, and he came from the techno scene basically, and he mentioned some weeks ago, now we're digging the progressive sound together among other things, that in techno, which he did also produced, released, had his own label, he's really into that, it's more like of a tool music, meaning that you don't really have a melodic structure necessarily, at least, and it's a lot of drums, and the whole tool concept comes from it being something that could glue other tracks together. So it's a tool to progress into a new track or whatever. And he said about progressive music that it's kind of like a song, like it's like its own composition in a way. It's more isolated in that it's. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought it was kind of like a beautiful perspective on it, that it's more compositions and more actual songs, even though you don't have a chorus or a verse structure and all that. Okay, so you wanted us to listen to one of the tracks that reminds you of that time. Is that correct? And please correct me and introduce us a little bit, and let's listen to some of it.
Now when we're talking about progressive house, I can play one of these tracks that reminds me of at least my introduction into the style that I'm playing now. I would like to play that one. It's a track, actually it's here on the vinyl, so I'm just gonna put it on.
You have photos saying Søren Dance Talk. I'm curious.
Ah, yes.
No,
I actually also have it on here, so I don't have to put on the vinyl.
I love to hear the vinyl.
Okay. Then I'm gonna put it on. But
yeah, normally we have 2 mics, but we'll do. And I love vinyl, so that's also why I'm encouraging you to. And you just told me that you also have a full vinyl setup at home. Yeah, warms my lot. All right.
yes.
Anton, this one? This one here? This one. Yeah. Only one of them is hooked up. So, okay.
So I can give a little introduction to this track. It's a track by Pillow Queen and Ruin. And Pillow Queen is a duo consisting of D. Tiffany and Vanity, which is 2 producers based in Montreal. And it was released in 2021 by a label called Isla. And this Montreal-based record label also has released at the same time this very, I think many people also know this EP by Mara called Poison. I forgot the name. It was a very big one, but in the same time. And I think that there's a lot of, it's like this whole universe of D. Tiffany and Mara that's very vocal based is something that I think is easy to recognize in a lot of these songs. And I found this EP in Proton Records, and I think that it was really also the way it looked that really drawn me towards it. It looks really cool with this, has like ancient design and then a very sexy babe in the middle as well. And yeah, I think we should give a listen to it.
with cursed rivers and the sand of all my sisters. Lips so lush, they generate oxygen. Her dance has no dogma. It's time to move. Anna. Cast spells on the floor. Before I slide all the way back into my head. Tender who do you want to serve? Her dance has no dogma. With cursed rivers and the sands of all my sisters. Remedy the fallen. Take me to ecstasy. Remedy the fallen.
So this was Pillow Queen and Ruin with Tunnel Vision from the label Isla. Something really cool about this track is that one of the lyrics that is sung is dance without dogma. And this sentence is a reference to this. There's this legendary dance movement called Five Rhythms Movement, which was started by Gabriel Roth, that is a person who coins dancing and movement in a meditative way. And it's also where Radiance Love have this "Sweat Your Prayers" also comes from one of Gabriel Roth's quotes. So I think that was also very cool that they also have that in this track. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. And the whole progressive vibe has got sort of a rebirth, or it's kind of reborn, because and as we also spoke about before, for those who are interested, I think you could really hear it in this as well, that it sort of evolves and changes throughout the track, hence the progressive term to it. And yeah, so you have Radiant Love, who's probably one of the biggest exponents of the new, or was at least, of the new progressive sound. You also have Kalahari, Oyster Cult, Craigie Nose. There's a lot of new labels who came up within the last 3-4 years or so. But it's kind of new because I collect records as well, and I've collected old tech house, meaning techno house. That was where it came from. And as well, as I mentioned in the beginning, the Dutch tech trance. Tech trance is a genre, but it comes from techno and trance put together. So I've been collecting tech house and old progressive house, which is slightly, has some of the vibes to as they have in the new school. You can definitely hear, if you listen enough, some traces that goes goes throughout the history. But it's been there before, and it warms my heart to hear that it's now really established as a club sound again, because it has so much to offer. It's so playful. It's intelligent. It's bodily. It's emotional. It has a lot of really interesting qualities that I love. So okay, when you came back from Switzerland, that's 4 years ago, maybe, or what?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay. 3 years ago, during Corona or COVID. So can you just talk a bit about what happened then?
Yeah. Then I moved back, and that's also when I started DJing with Future Female Sounds. And I think that was where I really started to develop my sound and also become more interested in electronic music. I think my interest actually also came from DJing, because even a long time before I started listening to electronic music, I wanted to DJ because I always loved music. I just think when I was younger, I didn't really dare to jump out into it. And I guess when I came back from Switzerland was the right moment for me. And that's where I started there. And that's where I met Ida and Laura that I play in Purple Rave Club with. And that's where we started the DJ collective. Yeah, so that's what happened afterwards. Yeah.
Was that the same kind of vibe you were digging back then? Because nowadays it's a lot of this and things that are similar, sort of similar to the vibe or the progressive or the trippy kind of music. What did you? Yeah. Okay, 2 questions. Mm-hmm. What did you like? How did you bond? Like, what was the common thing, and what was your music back then? You think profile, was it 3 different styles, or yeah?
I think that for me, it was very different styles. I think in the beginning, I was addicted to just jump into all of the big genres that were out there and being played at the moment, and I kind of break them down and listen to everything. So I think it's always been hard, and I'm still struggling to stay within genres or sounds. Not that one has to, but I just really love to actually mix components of different genres, and that was also especially something I did a lot in the beginning. I think I remember that one thing that we bonded about in the Purple Rave Club was, or when we started at Future Female Sounds, was especially electro and breakbeats and stuff like this. And I have a very clear memory of when we were at the academy one day. Laura was playing this track, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And then I went up, and she showed me, and it was a Hermith track. And then I went home, and I really digged Hermith, and I loved the sound. And then a few weeks later, we decided to do a mixtape together. And then we had both found the same track that we wanted to put into this mixtape, and it's a massive banger, and it's been played everywhere. It's called Devil's Reject with Hermith, and yeah, it's a really good track. I brought it. Yeah? Yeah?
So,
I think so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, this was Devil's Reject with Hermeth. That was released on the label La Forge, which is a French label, and Hermeth is a producer based in Geneva. And something cool about this track is that this rap sample is from a K-pop song by a group called Black Panther, a massive hit. And I think it's a really cool, creative way to use something from a song that has a total different vibe and then use it in this really hard electro song, because it's just so banging when the rap comes in. I think it's really cool.
All right, Purple Rave Club represent. So back then, when you formed your crew, what was your impression of the Copenhagen dance scene back then?
I think our impression of it. I think we were really excited to. What exactly do you mean with impression for it?
I mean, just coming from Switzerland for your part, and just I don't know, just the experience, just the feeling. What do you remember? Was it I don't know, revolutionizing, interesting, fascinating? Like coming into that environment and that culture, that milieu. What do you make of it?
I remember it all as being super exciting this time, and also this song really gives me this like nostalgic of feeling so excited, because our first DJ gig was at Bakken, and just all the I think even the first one was at the first night at Distortion, and so this was just a crazy rowdy night at Bakken, and we were all super excited, and I just so I think that time and like that time is also how I think I relate to my impression of the scene, that from my point of view was that everything was new and exciting, because suddenly I came back also to the city that I grew up in, but suddenly everything was like, whoa, so crazy and way more exciting and new to explore. So
Where did you go out?
I think at Bakken, and a little bit ved siden af, until it changed to den anden side, ved siden af Hangaren, I think, and Jolene, in those places,
Yeah, and you just had your first gig at, you had the first Purple Rave Club at den anden side, a month ago.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Yeah, can you just, how was that?
That was really great. I think we all had a really, really good night. We had all been super excited to play there and to host this evening, and I think we all had a really good experience with playing there. Yeah.
How is it different from ved siden af? Do you have some perspectives on that?
I think it's very different in now that it's a bigger club, and it's definitely something new. And I think that I like the fact that when it is bigger and then there are a lot of people, then there's also this more opportunity to have like a really big party and a big dance floor going on. And I especially like the kind of the design of the dance floor, that there is like a leveled levels, so you can kind of see everyone and you can also be down. I like that. Yeah.
Yes, before you had to it was really long and rectangular, and you have to go, and then in a really small confined space, turn around and face a DJ, and that was cute and intimate, but also cramped. So I agree on that one. And being the nerd I am, I kind of improvise now, because speaking of the whole progressive vibe, we also had the chat at we in the morning at Kune Festival this year, when Casper played. Probably it was around noon, I think, and we were talking about Bonsai Records. And you remember that? Yeah. And as I said before, I've been collecting old progressive music and digging the roots of what came up now. And one of the tracks I thought about that has a lot of similar vibes to Radiant Love and the other labels we mentioned before is from Bonsai Progressive, and it's by an artist called Philip van Mullen, and it's a mix. It's called Progress Trance Mix, and I just want to have a tiny bit of history to add to the new school. Now we've been talking so much about it, so do you mind if I just play like a couple of minutes? Cool, let's do it. So this is from 1997. So we're back, like 8 years, something like that, if my math is correct. And I always love like the thought of imagining that so many years ago, people were really, really talented, made some really good music, and just dancing all night, all morning, all day, all weekend. Philip van Mullen, Bonsai Records, Bonsai Progressive. There's a lot of sub-labels to that. Bonsai was a huge almost commercial label from Belgium, and have loads of sub-labels as well, pioneering different kind of sounds and atmospheres. And this is in the more house-y department. Okay, Philip van Mullen, Magnetic Progress Trance Mix in 3 words. These old tracks always has a really long break, and this break is probably like 2-3 minutes. But it's what I like about it is that you have to embrace it. Either you have to edit it out, which I do sometimes in Ableton Live, but it also creates some tension. But the problem is if you have tracks, which I think almost all of the tracks back then had breaks. So in every track you play, you have like 2-3 minutes break. That kind of kills the vibe as well. Not the vibe, but the energy at least. But for this particular podcast, we're going to listen to the whole break. So Philip van Mullen, Magnetic Progress Trance Mix, Bonsai Progressive, 1997. Okay, you get the idea. So just as one more comment, the progressive stuff I like comes primarily from three places in Western Europe. It's from the UK, which is a more chunky sound, not as techno-ish maybe, doesn't have the same roll or groove or continuity in the as feel as some of the continental stuff. So this year was Belgian, and I also listened to a lot of Dutch progressive music as well, which has more like, generally speaking, a dreamy vibe to it, and not as chunky or masculine maybe as the UK stuff. Not that that's a bad word. It's just different. But there's so much from that time, quality stuff from these labels here. Progressive, Bonsai being one of them. There's Sadie Records. There's a lot of UK stuff as well. If you have approximately 1,000 hours on Discogs, go dig it out. So, what do you make of this?
I think it's a really nice track. I think it's so funny that that the sound is just also so similar to what is really what you hear a lot today, what is produced a lot today. That it's really having a revival. Maybe despite for the very long break, that's something that was more, as you said, something that was prominent there. I really love the atmosphere and the vibe that I think it's quite atmospheric, but still in an uplifting way. So it's not too dramatic to put on at any time at night. I think it would work in a lot of different times. Yeah.
And while the music was playing, you told me that the first compilation and the first track we played was from the history of Dutch tech trance music, 1994 to 2005. And you also discovered a compilation from the same label, another Dutch tech trance compilation on Bandcamp. Yeah, how did you end up there, and is it possible, because you're gonna play later tonight at Bakken, is it possible that you're gonna play some of that music, and just tell us about it?
I discovered it because I was planning a set that I played last weekend, and I was just deep into digging, and that's where I also stumbled up on this compilation. Actually, I'm not playing later at Bakken, but Miss Poppy and Sophie are playing from Purple Rave Club. But but if I would have, maybe I would have played at least some of the same vibe. This also kind of, I mean, this type of music, this Dutch era of trance music, I think the way I got, or one key track that really introduced me to trance music is one that's called Crazy People with Nalen and Kane, which is a German duo that released this track. And it was when I started DJing that I found this track, and I was completely overwhelmed with it, because it is a very dramatic song. I think it's a banger, but it's definitely not something you can play anytime, because it's super dramatic. But I just loved it from the first time I heard it.
And a lot of that music is dramatic, basically. And Nalen and Kane is also pioneers of the genre. They've released tons of good music. Were also huge in the whole Ibiza millennia culture as well, among like Paul Oakenfold and Sven Fade and all the others. Nalen and Kane were huge. Beach Ball is one of the most famous tracks, been remixed 1,000 times, I think, and it's so good. And is this a recent discovery of yours?
No, it was from 2 years ago, I think. So it was actually something I discovered before I really started listening to trance, but one of the tracks that kind of opened the door to the genre for me, I think. So it was kind of key in also ending up that describes how my style ended up the way it is now, I think. Yeah.
Are there some particular elements in this track, like a breakdown, a melody, a percussion, that you like remember or love or fell in love with, maybe?
I think it's especially the vocals. The vocals are very simple, but I really like it on this one. And then I think it's the bass. I think I have I mean, as many other people do, but I think I usually listen a lot to the bass lines when I go for tracks, and this song also has a very prominent and like strong bass line. And then also it has like, it kind of has a surprise every time the drop comes, like whoa, like a bit of an overwhelming sound, and I think I also really like that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
and Kane, Crazy People with K, 1995. What a track! And again, amazes me. Now I spoke before about the Bonsai track that was from 1997, and how it amazes me that back then, like almost 30 years ago, they really knew how to make proper club music. And this being from 1995 is amazing. Katinka, we run out of time, and thank you so much for joining Dance Talk here. I'm DJ Estrella. Thank you for listening in. Is there anything you want to say about this, or another thing that you want a new mixtape maybe people should listen to, something that inspires you right now?
Yes. I actually think that the compilation that we talked about before, they released several compilations from the Dutch Tech House, from Tech Trance, exactly, yeah, from each year, and they're really cool to check out. They're all on Bandcamp. Yeah, I think those are worth digging into. And thanks for having me.